Hi, I'm Eric Kelly from KellyPlanet.com. This is a closer look at Star Trek The Next Generation, Season 6, Episode 6, True Q.
We have arrived at Starbase 112 in a loading relief supplies destined for Tagra 4, an ecologically devastated planet in the Argolis cluster. We have also taken on a rather unusual passenger.
We were in the Argolis cluster just a few episodes ago. That's Amanda Rogers, and that actress is British, but you can't really tell. Anyway, she's a science nerd and is on the ship through some scholarship program or something. The idea is for her to try a bunch of different departments and see what she likes, or doesn't. Hey, there's Riker, and he's old enough to be her dad, and it's his job to take her to quarters. She's like, wow, this is so big, and he's like, oh, I hear that all the time. Well, not really. But she does miss her doggos. She has 3 at home. Riker leaves, and...
Oh, no. Oh, no, I didn't mean it. You guys can't stay here.
Holy special powers, Batman. Given the title of this show, we can figure this has something to do with Q. Bev is showing Amanda how medical tricorders work, and nothing weird is showing up, so I guess she's human. Oh, also, I guess this is the first department she's trying out. Bev talks about Wesley and his dad, and this is how we find out that Amanda's birth parents were killed when she was little, and she doesn't really remember them. Oh yeah, the Enterprise is on a relief mission. Geordi says they have to transport all the supplies by shuttle because of the atmospheric ionization, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, again, every time Amanda meets a new primary character, she happens to be an expert in whatever they are talking about. But that doesn't really matter, and it's not really as annoying as when Wesley did it. Hey, look at the commander standing over there all by himself.
They shoot the air full of... Commander, are you alright? You okay?
I didn't even see it coming.
I don't care what the tricorders say, she's Q alright. Worf could have used her when he broke his back. Now we're down in engineering and Amanda knows everything. All of a sudden Data says, oh no, warp core breach imminent, for no apparent reason. So the fog machines kick in, everybody out, we're gonna have to eject the core.
Temperature in the reaction chamber has returned to normal.
Holy crap, she just reversed a warp core breach. And this time there were witnesses. Riker asks Bev if Amanda is an alien, and the doc says, nope, she's human. Geordi says, I have no idea what the deal is with the warp core breach. Everything was totally fine, and then boom. It's like the laws of physics just flew right out the window.
And why shouldn't they? They're so inconvenient. Are you responsible for this incident in engineering?
Of course. I needed to find out if what I suspected about the girl were true.
That being?
That she's Q.
I knew it, and hey, John Delancey rules. And he's from Pennsylvania. Bev says, what are you talking about? Her biological parents were human. Q says, well, not really. They were both Q who wanted to live on Earth for some reason, and then they had a kid. Q can't understand why children are appealing, but he eventually has a son on Voyager, so I guess he changed his mind. So what happened to her parents?
They died in an accident. None of us knew whether she had inherited the capacities of the Q, but recently they've begun to emerge, and as an expert in humanity, I was sent to investigate.
The warp core breach was a test to see if she's a Q, and if not, well, they'd all be dead. So what happens now? He's just there to teach her Q stuff and then take her back to the Continuum. Bev doesn't like that plan. You can't just uproot her life like that, and Q's like, sure I can, and I'm saving her from this miserable existence. Bev keeps it up, so Q flashes Picard and himself to the ready room, which is like 50 feet away.
Crusher gets more shrill with each passing year.
Q, what is it you really want?
Well, since you know so much about the Q, I thought you'd be the perfect person to introduce me to the child. Let her know that she can trust me.
I don't trust you, Q. Why should I expect Amanda to?
Amanda has to trust him because if Q doesn't get her to the Continuum, he'll have to kill her. But I don't think we know that yet. So Picard and Q are going to have to pretend to be best pals, for Amanda's sake. Time for some girl talk. Apparently this Q stuff started happening about 6 months ago, and Amanda is taking this, hey, I'm kind of a god now thing pretty well. She's going to have to meet Q, and, oh, there he is. He tells her that the warp core breach thing was pretty impressive. What else can you do? And she's like, oh, I don't know what you mean.
Spontaneous combustion of someone you don't like? That sort of thing?
The first time it happened was when the container almost fell on Commander Riker.
And you handled that very well. That's why I gave you a greater challenge.
Q says he sees potential in her and might as well take her to the Continuum now. But Amanda's like, how about no? And throws Q into the wall. I guess Counselor Troy is on vacation because we're talking about feelings with Bev again. Oh yeah, and from here on out, she doesn't wear a wig anymore. That's Cheryl's real hair. At this point, Amanda wants to forget all this and go on with her life, but Bev says she can't do that. This isn't just going to go away. You're going to have to talk to Q. No, but he sucks. Bev says, yeah, I know, but he's the only one that can help.
You are going to have to make some hard choices about your future.
I know. But I don't want any of this to disrupt my time here. And I don't want you to treat me any differently.
Good luck with that. Ask Riker about the time he was a Q. That Shadow is a dude from the Continuum. Here's where we find out that they might have to kill Amanda. Q goes to apologize to Amanda and says he doesn't blame her for beating him up. She has some questions for him, and I would too. What exactly are the Q? Well, even we don't know that. Basically, he says, well, we're omnipotent, we can do anything we want, and we do. And we're pretty selfish about it, and she's not into that. But surely there is something that she wants and never thought she could have.
What is it?
I'd like to know what my parents look like. My real parents.
How quaint. So do it.
He gives her a bit of coaching, and then presto, there are her parents and baby her. That's a neat trick, but they are just getting started. Amanda's working in the med lab like she would have normally, and they are measuring cellular mitosis. But seeing her parents like that kind of has her distracted, and Amanda tells Bev that she was right, she has to deal with all this. Bev says if she had those powers, she'd probably want to heal the sick, because, she's a doctor. But she probably couldn't make a decision like that unless she had to, and Amanda's like, well, I do have to. So just try to concentrate on your work.
Thought she'd never leave. It's time for another lesson.
Well, I have to finish this experiment first.
Why don't we combine what you're doing with our lesson, and we'll show you how to finish in no time.
Yeah, Q gets her to warp speed the bacilli, and now we get a message from Tigra 4. That's the planet they're sending the supplies to, if you forgot, because I did. That guy is Orn Alot, and he's having problems with the reactor that powers his atmosphere filters. Okay. Data looked up some of the details about Amanda's parents. They were killed in a tornado in Topeka.
Why wasn't it dissipated by the weather modification net?
Unknown, sir. The bodies were discovered in the rubble after the storm had passed.
See if you can find out any more details, Mr. Data. I'd like to know more about that storm.
Aye, sir.
Riker stops by to see the doc, but she's not there, so he goes to leave. Amanda's all like, oh, you could wait for her here if you want, but he's busy. Q says, oh, you're attracted to him, and she's like, no way. But he's like, yes way, that's gross. His face is all hairy. Oh, there's the doc, and she says, wow, how'd you get this done so fast? Well, Q said we could speed things up a bit, but doing that ruined the experiment. Now that's a start all over. Q and Bev start arguing.
I don't interfere with what you're teaching.
You would be incapable
and I don't
of
think it's
interfering.
asking too much that you do the same. And you stay out of mine.
Well, when you put it like that, I think you're absolutely right.
He turned her into an Irish setter because, she has red hair. Ooh, Data has more backstory for us, but we'll have to wait for that because now Q and Amanda are talking about teleportation. She's not real great at it, so they go practice some hide and seek. First, she finds him in the shuttle bay, but that's pretty easy. Then Q hides in the dilithium chamber. No, here we go. Now we're outside by the starboard nacelle pylon.
Now do you understand? What do humans have to offer you that even begins to compare with that? Your future contains wonders you can't even imagine.
Amanda's starting to like this. Oh, there's the counselor. I guess she's back from vacation. The ladies go for dinner in 10 forward, and there's Riker. He can't join them because he's got a date with that lady. And Amanda doesn't like that. So she flashes them to a gazebo in something like 19th century Kansas. Riker says, well, this is very nice, but how about we go back? And she's like, well, no, how about we hang out here for a while? He tells her that you can't make people love you, and she says, oh yeah, watch this. And all of a sudden, he's all over her. But she realizes that none of this is real and sends him back to 10 forward, and now she's sad. Now we get to that info that Data had. Picard asks Q about the specifics of what happened.
What are you driving at, Picard?
Witnesses reported that the funnel materialized spontaneously, directly over Amanda's home, destroyed it, and disappeared.
If you say so, I wasn't there.
Picard figures that Amanda's parents were executed by the Continuum, and Q's like, yeah, so. Well, the captain thinks she has a right to know that. Q says it doesn't matter, either she returns to the Continuum or they're going to kill her. They can't have a super powerful being just like running around. So what's going to happen? And Q says, well, I haven't decided yet.
We have arrived at Tigra 4 and have begun delivering supplies. In the meantime, I'm faced with a crisis of a different nature.
Picard has to tell Amanda about her parents and that the Q are going to kill her, and, that sucks. Of course, she's not too happy and makes Q appear, and Picard asks him what right does he have to be judge, jury, and executioner, and Q says, well, I'm vastly superior. Picard tells him that the Q acting like moral guardians of the galaxy is a bunch of bull.
You may be nearly omnipotent, and I don't deny that your parlor tricks are very impressive. But morality, I don't see it. I don't acknowledge it, Q. I would put human morality against the Q's any day.
Q's like, oh, Jean-Luc, sometimes I think the only reason I show up here is for your lovely speeches. But it doesn't matter. We've decided not to harm her. But she has to make a choice. She can either come with him to the Continuum or renounce her powers. It's up to her. Amanda's like, fine, cool, I'm staying here. But it's not so easy. Her parents were given the same choice, but they ended up using their powers and were killed for it.
All I've wanted since this whole thing began is to become a normal human being again. I know I can resist.
Warp to Picard.
Oh yeah, Riker and everybody are flying shuttles down to the planet with those supplies, and of course something goes wrong. The commander informs us that reactor thing has gotten worse, and when it blows up, it's going to kill a whole lot of people. Q says, well, it's not me, and flashes out of there. They still can't use the transporters, and Geordi says the thing will melt down in just a few minutes.
Captain, I don't know what's happening, but the reaction is stabilizing on its own.
I am reading a massive energy fluctuation in the planet's atmosphere.
On screen.
Oh, Amanda used her powers to save everybody and fix the planet's atmosphere. I guess she made her choice. Q shows back up and's like, ha, I told you. Amanda flashes Bev to the bridge so she can hear the speech about having to be true to herself and she can't deny what she is and blah, 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 blah. Q says, okay, great, let's go. But Amanda says, no, not yet. I have to go explain all this to my family back on Earth, so you gotta be patient.
I hope I can come back and see you.
You're a Q. You can do anything you want.
Apparently the original story was written by a 17-year-old and he had Amanda as a Wesley Crusher type character who gets a girl pregnant. But they got rid of all that and the script was done by Renee Echevarria and Michael Piller added the part about the Q killing Amanda. Speaking of which, we didn't see Q at all last season and Delancey and the producers wanted to bring him back as a more malevolent character like he was early on. They were kind of disappointed that it really didn't turn out that way, but I'm always happy to see Q and I think he did just fine. McFadden has gorgeous hair. I don't know why they made her wear a wig for 5 years. Several people thought this was reminiscent of Bewitched. I'm old enough to have watched that show, and my response would be, yeah, sure, okay, fine if you say so. There were a lot more talk about feeling scenes than I included here, and I like this episode, and I usually give a high rank whenever Q is involved, but I think this is just an average 3 deltas out of 5. You can let me know how you feel about that. If you liked that video, thank you. Like and subscribe, make a comment if you want to. There's more Star Trek videos and related content on my website. Check it out at kellyplanet.com. I'm Eric Kelly. Live long and prosper.